actually start understanding how everything starts to switch when you actually understand how we interact with each other, which many of us don't know. Some of us that we bring in to 70,000 people, 60, 70,000 people in our network is something called wealth dynamics, which is how work with each other. Business people work with each other to get a whole different result. It's based on something called the I Ching. It's based on the I Ching, which is then based on something which then built into something called the Tao, which means the way. We all have a personal way. We all have our path of least resistance. Another way, a word for that is the word flow. We all have a flow in our life. Our flow leads to our fortune. And there is a science behind it, which if you have seen this, you need to know about this. It's absolutely essential that there is particular ways you do things which are natural for you. There are only 8 paths to wealth. We can pick any one of the entrepreneurs that we have here, whether it's Anita Roddick, whether it's George Soros, every one of them followed one game only. So how do you actually understand which one is your game? By do naturally. The point is this. The point is that when you do what you do naturally, you don't even think about it. It comes naturally. The minute you start thinking about it, it starts feeling like hard work. If you're doing anything at all to make money that feels like hard work, you're already doing the wrong thing. There's not a single... There's not a single billionaire in the world who's doing something that feels like hard work. Or else they retire tomorrow. They didn't need the money. They're doing it because that's flow. That's what they do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to compress this concept down into 2 minutes, not to give all the knowledge and so on, but just to give an idea of how important it is to get this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain is that there is actually an equation to wealth, that the way that every wealthy person has created wealth, and the reason this is important is that the only way for us to actually go out there, worldwide wealth is not just about giving money. It's about actually creating wealth in order to contribute wealth. That the more that you make, the more you can give. You can't have the poor by being poor, but if you actually start understanding that we have a power inside ourselves, which is a whole different level, and if we choose to actually go and follow that, that's an extraordinary life, because then you can contribute more. So this is all about understanding that there's a river, that the only way for anything to come in is things go out, and that there is an equation which is that wealth, it's a bit low, so I'll tell you what it says. It says wealth equals, and there's 2 parts to it. Wealth equals something called value multiplied by something called leverage. This is so important to know, because value is what creates the height of the river. You have height differential, you have water flow. You have value differential, you have money flow. It always is going to flow. So your value differential will flow. Some of us, we create value, but we create it in ways. Right? And if you have someone says, the only way to make money is through the property market, the only way to make money is through entrepreneurship, then they're only getting half the story. In the same way, there are 2 ways to leverage as well. There's 2 ways, and I'll get onto that in a moment. But let me first start with why we say there are only 8 paths to wealth, and the only way for you to be successful is to actually have a team of people where you support others, where your value is someone else's leverage. Let me show you very, very quickly how this works, and then we're going to move on and just decide for yourself whether this is of great value for you. Up the top, we have people who just naturally, the way they think is not in left or right, but in top and bottom. They think at high frequency. There are people in this room who are intuitive thinkers. We do a test, which means every member gets to know what they are. Intuitive thinkers, another way of intuitive thinking, high frequency, is that you have your head in the clouds. You know, there's many of us have our head in the clouds. We think somehow that's a weakness. People keep trying to pull us down. No, stay up there. You know, Thomas Edison, when he started General Electric, he says, I'm not going to run that business for a day. I'm just going to keep you stuff because that's what I love to do. It's what I'm best at. Bill Gates did the same thing. So when you start realizing that this person here, someone called a creator, which is one of the profiles, by the way, a creator is someone who is able to create value the way intuitive people create value, which is through something called innovation. Innovation is creating value, but it's by something that wasn't even there before. Right? Creators are good at doing that. Some of you are creators. You started your business because you're good at it, but now you're running it, and you're terrible at running it. And for some of you actually still think you're good at running it. No! So this thing here is about knowing creators. You pass it to the right person. Oh, by the way, the opposite of creators. Let me ask you this. This man here, I never shown times, but there you go, Warren Buffett. Has he ever created anything in his life? Nothing. He doesn't have to because he doesn't have his head in the clouds. He has his ear to the ground. All right, someone who is a sensory thinker instead of an intuitive thinker. It's the opposite. You can't be both. It's one or the other. It's high frequency or low frequency. And actually physically is a frequency. So down here, this one here, sensory thinker. A sensory thinker is someone who creates value not through innovation. They create value through something called timing. Timing. Why do you have to create anything if you can simply buy low, sell high? Every single creator, they know their biggest weakness is timing. That's fine. They don't even get involved. On the other hand, people down here, they don't even go out trying to start a business. They'll team up with the right people that they can trade with. This person here, a trader. Oh, by the way, a trader is not Warren Buffett. A trader is someone like George Soros because it's someone who's extremely good at timing, but they're going to get that timing through the way they buy and they sell. Warren Buffett is here. This person is an accumulator. We have many accumulators They are very good at creating financing. They're very good at supporting others. An accumulator like Warren Buffett, they collect over time. They're very analytical. It's not so much about the people. It's about the numbers, about the detail. So this person on this side, also good at timing, but with people. This person here is called a deal maker. There are people here in this room who are deal makers, like Donald Trump. They'll spend all their time, Rupert Murdoch, they'll spend all their time doing deals, and that's how they make their money. They'll get other people to create. And then, of course, you can have these three who always are close to the market. You have these three up here. They make money in a totally different way. This one here, this one is a star. A star is someone who is very good at people, but creates not product, but creates brand. Oprah Winfrey is a star. She's got many other people's products that she creates as a result of her brand. And at the same time, you have someone like Martha Stewart, who's a star. Martha Stewart makes $1 billion as a star. She does, what, a $60,000, $70,000 trade? She loses half her star value in terms of her business and ends up in jail until she shifts it all around and gets back to actually focusing on being a star again. It's so important to know which one you are. This one here, by the way, this side is a mechanic. I'm going from the real quick because this is not about this, but it's about just showing you there are different games to play or different stations to tune into. A mechanic is someone like Ray Kroc, Henry Ford. A mechanic is someone who's so good at systems, everyone has got products come to them. Jeff Bezos, Amazon.com. So good at products come to him. He doesn't have to make the books himself. Everyone's books will get attracted to him. This person here, last two. Oh, by the way, before I give you the last two, I need to show you what the two opposites of leverage are. Can I see a show of hands? Who here would like to know what are the two opposites of leverage? Okay, good. Here's how it works. Some of us are more introvert, some of us are more extrovert. Action, dynamic, and I know a lot of you testing, but this takes it to a different level because of the tools that we put behind it for entrepreneurs. On this side here, we have people who are more introvert, and the way that they leverage is through something called multiply. You know, that's when you say, I'll work on my business, not in my business. That's multiply. You put systems in place. You might read books to tell you how to multiply, but if you're a star, you love being a people, you love magnifying yourself, and all of a sudden you're trying to multiply your business, you're not going to succeed because you just don't have patience for it. You hate the numbers. You don't like that detail. Don't do it. Get other people to do that. Go over this side. See, some of us, we're not so good at making things simple and multiplying. In fact, we can't help making things complicated. So this side, this is the opposite, which is magnify. For extroverts, magnify is making things as complicated as possible and making sure there's only one. There's only one deal maker in New York property. There's only one brand for Nike shoes in golf. When you start to get that idea that this is the opposite as extroverts, then you can start to see why it is that so many of us go off track because our winning formulas become losing formulas. We don't even get what game we're playing. It's so important to also know I can get to a creator in China. I can get to a deal maker in India because all these people online, we've got their profiles. You can find them. You can search for them, and then they know who you are. You know who they are. Boom, you connect straight away. Oh, by the way, these last two, a lord, if you find you're a lord, very good at numbers, detail, you might be like Rockefeller, John Paul Getty, Sergey Brin from Google. These people are very good at systematizing and making money from cash flow. Total opposite of this person over here, a supporter. A supporter is excellent with people. Rudy Giuliani, Jack Welch, they're supporter profiles. Never started a business, have to. They'll consult for others, and more importantly, they'll run other people's business. Steve Ballmer, billionaire. He never started Microsoft, doesn't have to. He can lead the people supporting Bill Gates who can then go out and be creative. Right? That's the key if you're a supporter. Very simple strategy. Just go find someone rich and marry them.